Right, Assalamualaikum and good day. So today in this video, I'm going to show you about control flow. In control flow, we're going to learn about if-else and if-else function in R. So what is control flow? First of all, control flow is actually a critical concept in programming that allow for execution of code in non-linear fashion. So the control flow structure in R allow you to specify which piece of code to be executed and what in what order. The structure enable you to create dynamic program that can make decision, repeat action, and handle different input scenario. So the first control flow that we're going to look at is if statement. The if statement is actually a fundamental component of the flow control in R. It evaluates a given condition, and if the condition is true, the block of code within the if statement is executed. If the condition is false, the if statement is ignored and the program will continue to the next line of code outside if blocks. So this is the example of the basic syntax of an if statement in our programming. So we have if condition with the curly bracket, then we input the code to be executed if the condition is true, and then close with the curly bracket. Remember, if we follow by condition, and then we open the if the condition is true, then it will execute the codes inside the curly bracket. If the condition is not true, means that it will ignore this code in the curly bracket and will continue to the next coding. So another flow control that we're going to look in this lecture is if-else statement. So an if-else statement is a type of flow control in R, and it allows you to execute different block of code depending on whether a condition is true or false. It is used to make a decision into your program. So this is the example. So if the condition x is more than 0, this is the condition, and then we put the curly bracket. If this condition is true, then R will execute print x is positive. If this condition is not true, it will go to the next line of code. Else, the second condition, else if this condition, the first condition x more than 3, x more than 2, 0 is false, it will continue to the else condition, where it will print x is not positive. This is the if else statement. The first one, when the condition is true. The second one, else, is that the condition is not true. Another special control flow in R, we have if-else statement, where we no need to put a multiple curly bracket in one coding. If-else function is a vectorized alternative to the if-else statement. It allows you to input more concise and more efficient condition operation on the vector. It evaluates a condition for each element of a vector and return a new vector with value assigned based on whether the condition is true or false. This if-else function, usually we have seen this function in Microsoft Excel, right? So if-else function in R, we just straight away put if-else and put our condition. If this condition is true, then it will evaluate return x value. If this condition is not true, it will return y value. So the meaning of each argument in the if-else function, the if-else test expression represent the condition to be evaluated. The x value means that the value to be returned in the vector if the test expression is true. In y argument means that the value to be returned in the vector if the test expression is false. Okay, this is just fundamental knowledge to know. We will go to the detailed part by doing some demonstration. So, right, this is about our demonstration. So we will look at into if statement first. So I'm going to show you several examples. So remember in previous lecture, I already show you that if statement is a fundamental component that it evaluates a given condition. If the condition is true, and then the R will evaluate the condition, the codes for that condition. If the condition is false, and then the if statement will be ignored. So this is basically the standard template for if condition, so if statement. So we should have if and then put a condition, start the curly bracket to input our codes, right, and close the if statement with curly bracket. Now let's look at the first example where we're going to look at checking for a positive numbers. So let's say I set x equal to 5, right? And then I want to know whether x is a positive or not. So I just put if and then x more than 0. If x is more than 0, then it will return this value. So I want to print x. X is a positive number or values, right? So let's run this one. So it will say that since x is equal to 5, then our condition says that if x is more than 0, means that x is a positive value. Supposedly x is more than or equal to 0. So let's say I change x equal to negative 3. So see what happened. It will ignore the condition or codes that I state in the if statement. So to overcome this situation, let's say we can add another value, right? Another condition where we input the if statement. Maybe I another one, right? So to say that if x is more than 0, means that when x is more than 0, when we will say that this is a positive value. When x is the other way around, is less than 0, so we want to return x is a negative value. So how to do that? We include if statement with the else statement. So let's say x is equal to 5, and then I start with if x is more than or equal to 0, then I will put a curly bracket to show that if this condition is true, print x is a positive value. So else, right? Else, I want to return if the if statement is false. Else, you need to print x is a negative value, right? So let's say we test this code. So when x is equal to 5, then it will return x is positive value because the first condition for if is true. So let's say I change this to x is negative 1. So since x is negative 1, this condition is not true, it's false. So if R will ignore the first condition and then go to the second condition where else you need to print x is a negative value. Let's run this one. So now we can see x is a negative value because the first condition is violated. So R will proceed for second condition. Okay, let's try to do another example. Example number 2. Right, let's try with a simple example validating age for voting. In this example, we would like to use if statement to check whether a person is eligible to vote based on their age. If their age is more than 18 years above, then a message will print indicating that the person is eligible to vote. So let's say age is equal to 20. So if condition age is more than or equal to 18, right? And then we put a condition, print you are eligible to vote, right? So, and I want to put another condition. If the person age is less than 18, so we would like to print you are not eligible to vote, for example. So now my age, person age is 20. So I run this one. It will say that the person is eligible to vote. Let's say a person is age 7. So you are not eligible to vote. All right. So let's look at another example. Example number 3, where we want to check for non-negative number. This is same as the previous. We just want to check. So let's say in this example, I just want to demonstrate the use of the if statement to check whether the number is non-negative, either positive or 0. So let's say we put number equal to 5, and if statement number more than or equal to 0. Notice this is the same example as before. Yeah. So I just put is number, right? And then this is not is non-negative, right? So if this statement is false, we just would like to paste print is number is negative, right? So let's run this one. So if it says number 5 is non-negative number, let's say I put a negative 1.0.734, for example. So it will say that negative 0.34 is a negative number. Okay. Right. Let's try another challenging, another fun example where I would like to validate the user length of password. Maybe I just put password, right? So I just need a password to be more than 8 character, right? So let's say I put Nasir. Okay. I put if password is more than, maybe I need to put n character password. So to count how many letters in the password provided by the user. So I just need to paste. Maybe I need to print the password. Length is valid. So else. So if the password length is not valid, so I would like to print the password length is not valid. It must be at least 8 characters long. So let's put this way. So Nasir is a 5 character. So it means that it will ignore the first condition. It will say that the password length is not valid must be at least 8 characters long, right? So now let's look at another challenging example where I would like to change a variable factor data type, right? So remember in empty cars dataset, and this is a ready-made dataset in R. So let's look at the structure of empty cars. So this example, in this dataset, we have all numerical variable where MPG is numerical, SYL also numerical, horsepower also numerical, gear, AM, carburetor also numerical. But in actual data, if we look at carefully, CYL means the number of cylinder. It's supposed to be either 4, 6, and 8. So this one should be a categorical variable. Same goes to VS, AM, gear, and carburetor. So I would like to create a if-else function to change the variable that non-numerical variable to a categorical variable, right? So now I would like to do this. So I'm going to use using a loop to go through each. So remember, this is the advanced technique. So where you need to um, I'm going to use loop where you not yet learn this topic. We will learn after this topic, for loops. Right, so I'm going to use for variable in names empty cars. Right, so I just put a curly bracket. Then I want to check if the current column name is one of the desired column. Means I want to select whether the column name is CYL, AM, VS, gear, and carburetor. So I'm going to use if variable in C of CYL, and then we have VS, and then we have AM, and we have gear, and lastly is carburetor, right? So if this value is a factor, right? If this is the value, the variable name, then we would like to change it to character. Empty cars, then change it as factor, right? Empty cars, right? So else we will not do anything. So if do nothing means that we're going to put X. So it will change, we will not execute anything lah. So then we will check for structure of empty cars. Yeah. Now, yeah. So now we have error because in this for I'm using VAR only. So in this one I use S. So be careful. Do not add any unnecessary word or letter in the code. So if you look at this one, the codes now have changed CYL to factor, VS, AM, gear, and carburetor to factor level. So far, we have learned an else statement appear once in the codes. So let's say we have a multiple condition, right? For multiple condition, right? By using else if. So we can use else if to shows that this is a multiple condition. For example, let's say I want to check whether the number is negative or positive or zero, right? We have another three condition let's do to check. So let's say x is equal to 0, right? So if x is more than 0, means that the 0 is not included in the consideration. So we would like to print x is a positive value, right? So else, if x is less than 0, right? Than 0, so print x is a negative value. So remember, else, so we need to print x is a 0 value. So remember, in this statement, I have three conditions. So first condition is where I would like to check whether this is a positive value or negative value or 0 value. So the first condition, I would like to check whether x is more than 0, means that 0 is not included. So it will print x is a positive value. Else means that if this condition is not true, it will ignore the first step and go to the second step. So the second step, remember we have three conditions. So now we have done for the first condition, we have another two conditions. So the second condition is if x is less than 0, we would like to print x is a negative value. Else, the third condition is if this condition is not true, it will print the last condition, x is a 0 value. That is it. So now let's say we check, so it will return x is a 0 value. Let's say I change this to x to 5, this will return x is a positive value. If I put a negative 5, x is a negative value. So this is the function where we can apply multiple condition, if else condition, right? Okay, so now to show this is the application of this example, let's look at example number 6, where example number 6 we would like to categorize the grade assignment. So where if the score is more than or equal to 90, so it will classify as A. If more than 80, or means that 80 to 89 should be B, 70 to 79 should be C, 60 to 69 should be D, below than 60 should be F. So we have multiple condition. So maybe I just put the condition. Maybe I would like to say that below 60 marks is equal to F. Right? Let's say 60 to 69 should be equal to D. 70 to 79 should be equal to C. And 80 to 89 should be equal to B. And last is 90 and above to more than 90 lah. More than or equal to 90 should be equal to A. So this is the condition that we would like to create. So let's say we say that score is equal to 91, right? So if that score is more than or equal to 90, so we will put this as print grade is A. Right? Else, if, but now we have several conditions. If score is more than or equal to 80, print grade equal to B, right? Else, if, right, condition score, if score more than or equal to 70, right, so we would like to print grade equal to C. Else, if score equal to more than or equal to 60, so then we would print uh, grade equal to E. Else, right, means that other than that, we would like to print grade equal to F. Now let's check whether all the condition has been closed or not. So this one should be close for this one. This one should be close with 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 this one. So this is an extra. So now let's run this one. Score is 91, should be A. Let's say score is equal to 40, should be F. Score should be equal to 85, should be B. Right? How we do it. Okay. So right. So this so far we have done for a single value. Let's say we would like to do for larger perspective of if else. Means that we want to put, normally we would like to put several value in a data set, right? Instead of only one value, we would like to use a data set. Data set normally contain a lot of vectors or numbers inside the variable. So we would like to sort whether the person is having A, B, C, or F simultaneously. So let's say I would like to I am going to use the same example, scoring, right? Grade assignment. Instead of having a single student, I would like to contain a lot of students. So I would like to categorize each student, grade of each student. Right. So in this case, I will combine my knowledge on for loops and if else statement. So let's say I type scores equal to, say I put some data here, 95, 87, 78, 85, 62, 90, 73, 88, 51, and 56. Right. Example. So I have some data here. So now I would like to initialize an empty vector for grade, right? So grade, should be an empty character, right? Okay. So now what I want to do is categorize each score. So to categorize each score, we will use the same concept here, but now we're going to do it simultaneously by using for loop, right? I in 1 until length of score. So means that from 1 until the end of from 95 to 56, right? So if scores of number 1, right, is more than equal to 90, so we will put it as print so grade I is equal to A. So now else if score I is more than or equal to, maybe this one should be more than or equal to, right? More than or equal to 80, right? So this one should be grade I equal to B. Else if for I more than or equal to 70, right? This one should be grade I should be equal to C, right? Next, else if for I more than or equal to 60. So this one should be grade I equal to D. Right? Else, I would like grade I should be equal to. So remember again, we need to make sure all the curly bracket are having open and close. So let's look at the for loops. It having open and close down here. For this one is open and close here, open and close here. So now we can click run. We can see the codes are running well. So but now it appear nothing. So we need to print the grades. Print the grade. Right. So print grades. Right. So we run this one again. So it will shows the grade for each of the score. Okay. Right, let's try another example. The same example, but the same concept, but the different example. I would like to group the age, right? Maybe I would like to say that when age less than 12, I would like to categorize it as a child. If age less than or equal to 19, I would like to categorize it as a teenager. And age less than or equal to 35, would like to categorize it as a young adult. Right? And then age less than or equal to 60, I would like to categorize it as adult. It means that when age from 0 to 12, I would like to categorize this as a child. 13 to 19 as a teenagers. 20 to 35 is young adult. 36 to 60 as adult. And last one, age more than or equal to more than 60 years old as a senior adult. Right. So now, how to do that? So now we need to put age, right? Let's say I put some data here, 25, 42, 15, 53, 68, 72, 56, 9, and 31 for the fair reason. So first step, I would like to initialize an empty vector for age category. Right. So to put it as an age category, I put an age group lah senang. Right, age group. Right. So this one a character where I would like to put as in the character value. So now I would like to categorize. So for I in 1 until length of age, right? Remember, when we use s, age with s, then we need to maintain age with s lah. Age in I. So this one should be when less than or equal to 12. So I would like it to print age group as for the first one as child. But else if let's say age less than age I less than equal to 19. So this one should be age group I should be equal to teenagers. maybe this one's capital. Okay. Next, I will put else if again. Condition age of I less than or equal to 35. Right. So this one should be printed age group of I to be categorized as young adult. Right. And else if age of I is less than or equal to 60, so then I will categorize is as adult. Else means that the balance of the condition should be age group I should be senior. Right. So before we proceed, we make sure all the curly bracket are open and closed, having open and close. So open and close, open and close, open and close, and open and close. And lastly, we would like to print the result. So print age group. So now it's already categorized. Age 25, it means young adult. 42 is adult. Teenagers 15. 33 is adult. 68 is a senior, and so on. So this is how we categorize, or by using multiple if-else statement. All right, so the last section, I would like to demonstrate if-else function. So the if-else function statement in R is a vectorized alternative to the if-else statement. It allows more concise, efficient condition operation for the vector, right? Instead of using if, curly bracket, else, curly bracket, and so on, we just type if-else function in R. So in this function, we have three arguments. The first argument is our test expression. The second argument is if the test expression is true, it will return the x value. If false, it will return y value. Right. So now let's look at example number 9, where we would like to categorize number as a positive and negative. As we already seen in the first example, right? We categorize the number as a positive and negative, right, by using if, curly bracket, else, curly bracket. Now we would like to do the same by using if else function. Let's look at this one. Let's say I have a number, several number. So let's say -3, negative 2, -1. I have 4, 5, and -4 and 2, for example. Right. So I would like to categorize. Right. Categories. So if else. So I just put numbers. Right. More than or equal to 0. More than or equal to 0. It should return positive. If the condition is true. If the condition is false, it will return negative. Right. And I will like to print category. Right. So it will show us. This is very simple and straightforward. No need to use open curly bracket, close curly bracket in the syntax. Right. So now let's look at another example where we would like to assign pass and or fail to student grades. Right. Very simple. Let's say grades. This is only two conditions. Remember, very simple. If you have many conditions, maybe we can put looping into if else. Many or we can put multiple if else in the function. So let's say grades I have C equal to 85, 40, 76, 59, and 90. Just very brief example, right? So this one should be if else grade more than or equal to 60, so it will appear pass. If not, if less than 60, it should be appear fail, right? So then I will like to print result, right? Okay, so this one will shows pass and fail according to the numbers of score that we have, right? So another one, let's look at another example for demonstration for you to understand a little bit more. So in this example, suppose you have a vector grades that you want to recruit them into pass and fail. This is the same example, recording factor. So we have grades, the same example but a different approach. Grades, see, let's say I have, instead of numbers, I have a category already. Right? I have a factor level, let's say A, B, and then we have C, and then we have D, and lastly we have F. Example. So status, I would like to know whether this one is pass or fail. Right? Else, if else, we put grades in A, B, B, C, right? So I will like to categorize this as if not, should be fail, right? So and then I will like to print stat. If you understand this one, right? Grades, if A, B, and C, it will categorize as pass. If grade is other than that, D or F, it will categorize as fail, right? Okay. So now let's look at another example, but this one a bit challenging. Right? I would like to determine the missing value, right? So whether, no, I would like to handling missing value means that I would like to replace the missing value with some value such as mean for the missing value in the data set. So let's say data set I have C, 1, 2, and this one is missing. And 4, and then we have a missing value again, and 6, right? So now in this data set we have two missing value, which is after 2 and 4, and between 4 and 6. So let's find mean value, right? Mean data, right? And then I went to na.rm. You need to put na.rm equal to true, because else it will not calculate the mean value for the data field data. So now here I would like to if else, right, is na data. So if there is a missing value in the data, replace it with the mean value. If there are no missing value, just maintain as it is. So we would like to print field data. So if you look at this one, I already pre-fill the missing value with the mean value of the data. So the mean value of the data 1 plus 2 plus 4 plus 6 divided by should be 3.25. Right? This is another way to use the function. Now, the last function for this video, I would like to determine the parity of number. Means that I would like to use if-else function to determine whether the number in a vector is odd number or even number. So now, I put some numbers here. See, this one should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right? So we know that this one is odd number, 2 is even number, 3 is odd, 5 also odd, and 4 is even number. So parity, right? If else numbers in 2 equal to 0. Means that, sorry, I'm not going to use in. This one is a modulus. The reminder means the number divided by 2 is equal to 0, means that there are no remainder in the division. So it will appear even. And if there is a remainder, it's not equal to 0, we will categorize this as odd. So print parity. Right. So now we can have categorize of even and odd number in this data set. All right. So I hope you have some ideas on if statement, how to use if statement and else statement, and using the multiple if else statement simultaneously, and the last function is if else. Until then, see you, goodbye.